who built the pyramids of Giza.
If wizards exist, I think you'd make something called them the pyramid.
Cut this bit out. I'd be hung.
Guys and girls, welcome back to Everything and Nothing, episode 3.
Hello, my lovelies. Episode 3. Woo!
Just to get the formalities out of the way right at the start of the episode. First off, thank you so much for everyone who's left a nice comment or just messaged us like personally, giving us some support or even just sharing it to your stories, all of that good stuff on social media. Thank you very much. It means a lot to us because it is nerve-wracking starting a podcast and telling all your friends and all that kind of thing, putting it on the story, putting yourselves out there like that.
It is scary.
So
it is
yeah,
scary indeed.
Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Love you. But
Mwah. Also, for the normal formalities, if you're listening to us on Spotify, please go on your phones and after you've listened to the episode, if you enjoyed it, drop us a 5-star rating. If you didn't, don't leave a rating.
Support the cause, but be nice, please.
On YouTube, drop a like on the video, drop a subscribe if you want to see more episodes after this one. This might be your first one you're watching of us. All the support is greatly appreciated. But today is going to be a juicy one. Today we're going to be talking all about conspiracy theories, talking all about unsolved mysteries. So get your tinfoil hats on to listen along with us. We've got some juicy ones.
We're getting our thinking caps on, guys.
Yeah, we actually are.
This is taking brain power.
So I guess we're going to kick it off with our first conspiracy theory. And this one's actually a lot more recent than I thought it was. Like, I've just checked over my notes again, and the thing I'm talking about actually happened, it happened last year. So the conspiracy theory I'm going to be talking about is one to do with a film that came out last year called The Sound of Freedom. Have you heard of it?
I have not. I'm not an avid film watcher.
No, yeah, actually, you're not. I knew you wouldn't have seen it.
Nope.
I haven't seen it either, for context, by the way. So the film itself... The basis of it is the film itself focused on like child trafficking, kind of like human trafficking, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And the conspiracy theory is that since it came out, like the media and like the government, because it came out in the USA, have been like trying to suppress it, basically like trying to get no one to watch it. And the reason that that's happened is...
Interesting.
So yeah, basically this film came out and the conspiracy is that all the government and the media are trying to suppress it a lot. And there's been loads of TikToks of like... For example, there was a TikTok of not of the person doing it, but they were talking about it, where they went to the theater to go and buy a ticket to the film, and they told them like, oh, the screen is like all sold out. And I don't know how it's not in the video. I don't know how they get into the theater, but they get in there and there's no one in the screen, like not a single person in the screen of this film.
They just don't want people to watch it.
Yeah, that they got told was full. And then there's been other things, like for example, there's been a theater with like just an average amount of people in it going to watch the movie, and then the AC in that specific theater like stops working to the point where the guy comes in and tells them like, oh, like the AC is not working in here, it's going to get like really hot, basically like not wanting people to stay in the theater for the whole film and stuff like that. And also it just came from like when other big kind of movies on like heavy topics or whatever come out, there's normally a lot of media coverage around them, and there's just like been nothing of the sort around this film coming out. And then to top all of those off, there was loads of delays in like the release of the film and all that kind of stuff. And then also once it came out, it just got loads of like negative reviews and negative publicity with not much like evidence or backing really. Like it kind of got like review bombed by like critics and stuff like that for this film that was like talking about this heavy subject and trafficking and stuff.
Fishy.
And yeah, and obviously the trafficking thing itself kind of links into like the Illuminati and that kind of higher level like elitist thing where they're all the ones doing this human trafficking stuff.
And you heard about this whole conspiracy theory on TikTok?
Yeah, I heard about it on TikTok, looked into it a bit more on Reddit and stuff, and yeah. There's a few other things about like on the similar wavelength of like things happening in the actual theater where they kind of like didn't want the people to kind of pay attention or watch all the way through. Like I think one of them, the lights didn't go out for like the whole movie. And you know, obviously when the film comes on, the lights dim. It just stayed bright for the whole length of the movie and stuff like that to distract people and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's weird because stuff like that sounds just like on paper, like at surface level, that seems quite coincidental. But I do know that there's obviously a lot of talks about kind of higher powers having their say in what media gets shown and what doesn't, and they definitely do have some sort of control over that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't really put it past them to do that by the sounds of it, but that's really weird.
Yeah, and because of like the lack of media coverage as well, like you said, like you hadn't heard of it, you would have thought something like this, you know, been blown up everywhere. And
yeah, and like even though I'm not like a proper film watcher, I obviously know a lot of people that watch films a lot, and no one has ever mentioned this to me. I've never heard about it. I've never even heard about this on TikTok or anything, which makes me think that's kind of weird that even that maybe isn't being pushed quite as far as it could be. Yeah. I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, the whole kind of conspiracy behind it, and the thing is that there's this big like coordinated effort from like no influencers talking about it. Like no one with influence has like mentioned anything of it, and just kind of suppressing it. And the fact that all these weird things, like there's multiple more things of that kind of stuff where people went to the theaters to try and watch it, and like lights stayed on, or the AC broke, and the guy came in, and basically them just trying to softly kick everyone out of watching this screening for this movie. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. And considering it only came out last year as well, it released in 2023, and the film's about all this trafficking stuff and basically highlighting reality. Because, okay, I just checked my notes, and it doesn't say specifically that it was like based on reality, but it's obviously a film about that kind of stuff, kind of implying that there's these higher powers doing all this trafficking nonsense and stuff. So, but yeah, I thought that one was weird. There's not like a crazy lot of like debate around it. It's just like a really sus thing.
It's definitely sus.
It's definitely like fishy. Like there's definitely something more to it. Because like, how many times do you ever go to, like, there's multiple videos of this thing for this specific film happening. Like how many times do you ever go to a theatre and like something weird like that happen?
No, it just doesn't really happen, does it? Like I don't think that's ever happened to me.
No, not for any film I've seen. Or if it has, and there's like a problem with a specific screen, they normally just move your screen.
True. I find going to the cinema scary sometimes.
Why?
You're going in a dark, enclosed room.
You're just scared of the dark. It's not the cinema you're scared of.
Well, yes. but it's deeper than that. Well, they're scary, period. No. You're in a dark, enclosed room. It's kind of vulnerable, dare I say.
True. And you've only got the little two little runways of escape.
Yeah, or I just charge through the wall somehow. Yeah. Fire exit.
Yeah, but they're at the bottom of like you have to kind of go down. Well, in most cinemas, at least in the UK, you have to kind of go down the steps, then round back on yourself. The fire exits are like the only exits. Oh wait, no, there is more actually.
Yeah,
like
you got. I'm going on a tangent here, but you've got your doors, your screen, fire exits, and if there's two or one, they're like near the screen. So if somebody was coming at me through the main entrance, which is literally my worst nightmare, by the way, just run out the fire exit, I guess.
Okay, let's say though, you're sat like Cool Kids Club, back middle of the whole theatre. I've come in the door.
Yeah, I forget that I think I'm hard and I sit at the back.
I didn't even.
Then what do you do? No,
I come in and I stand like not at the front where the stage is, but like kind of, you know how you have to go down the steps and then round the corners.
I know what I do.
It's just a game of Bulldog.
Nah, you underestimate me because you're at the back, right?
Yeah.
You're at the top. You have to go up the steps, but there's railings. I can jump down.
True. Wait, railings where?
You've got your seats.
Yeah.
So you've got your doors at the side.
Yeah.
You walk round and then you kind of come back up on yourself.
Oh, the doors like above where I know what you're talking about. Like where you walk in and then go up, around and up. You're just kind of jumping basically on top of where the door is, the railing there.
Yeah, and then you jump over and then you run out that way. So you're
gonna jump that. So if I'm the murderer and I come in that thing, you're jumping over that railing.
If I'm in the cinema and I'm watching a film and a murderer comes in, I'm 180 swagging them and I'm jumping down that railing.
You're gonna trick shot him. You're just gonna 360 no scope him.
Well, yes.
Like it's Modern Warfare 2.
I'm jumping down the railing and out the doors, and then go and fuck off.
Bro thinks she's in the bot lobby.
Anyway, that was a major tangent.
Yeah, what conspiracy have you got for us?
The main conspiracy theory that I think about quite a lot and that I see on TikTok quite a lot is who built the pyramids of Giza.
Oh, yes. I was kind of hoping you were going to talk about this.
Yes, because there's a few things around it that definitely confuse people and me. I think the main thing is how perfect they are.
Yeah.
Like, even within the way that they're structured, even if they were like an inch or two off here or there, like it would mess up the entire like structural integrity of it. The fact that they've done that so perfectly so long ago with the limited tools that they supposedly would have had back then, it almost just seems like that's just not right.
Yeah, did you see the Joe Rogan TikTok on it? 'Cause that's the one that I saw. Yeah, and the way he explained it. But I've also saw, just a caveat, that also, as well as like how you were saying about how old it was and the tools that they had available, they don't even know how old it is. Like they're saying that, I think they dated someone like the stones basically, but then they've even said like those stones could have been, I don't know what the word for it was, but kind of like encased and sort of preserved for like ages in time. And the fact we can't figure out how old this thing is just weird.
No, and it's just mad as well how like they're all perfectly aligned, like pinpoint aligned, and then also the actual like top points of them, I might be wording this wrong, but it's something like they're like the perfect north and
yes.
Like they're like, I can't think of the word. Hold on.
It's I know what you're trying to say. They're perfectly aligned with north, east, south, west. It's like,
yeah, I don't know.
Perfect pinpoint precision.
I just don't get how they would have done it.
Yeah, so a lot of people think that it was done by aliens because we can't figure out how old it was, how it was done. And also, have you seen how the stones that they used to think, some of them have been cut from like quarries that were like miles and miles and miles away. And obviously some of the stones are like tons each.
Like, where did you get them from, girl?
And how did you even get them up the pyramid? Like, even just to place the base thing, which, because they're like meters high each block, trying to do that. Because they were thinking, like, if you've got to drag a rock that big, say you even have the amount of people it would take to drag this rock, whether it's on wheels on a cart or not, on whatever it is, you'll essentially have to drag it like up a slope.
Yeah, because you're building on top of.
So when it gets to like the top, even someone's halfway up, like how long does that ramp have to be for that many people to be able to drag a block up that high to get on it?
And how strong are these guys?
Yeah, literally. I think, aren't the blocks like 18 tons, like
something
each?
Crazy. I don't know, but like how. The verdict online is the following. Number 1, alien intervention, of course.
Pretty plausible.
Because of the advanced engineering, precise alignment of the structures, it was beyond the capabilities of them. Elon Musk chimed in on Twitter. The man said, hell no, it's not aliens. But we don't believe you, Elon.
If there's anyone,
how do you know? How do you know?
Yeah, and also that seems weird. I'm getting my conspiracy hat on here as well. Like, out of anyone to say that it's definitely not aliens himself, like, is Elon Musk, the guy who's leading like SpaceX. Like, surely he must be like, surely part of his thing is find out if there is aliens and stuff. So the fact he's like, oh, this wasn't aliens, seems a bit sus from him.
Elon,
he's like he's trying to cover something. He's getting a bit defensive.
Elon. We don't trust you.
No, I actually don't. That guy's weird. That guy is just like...
That guy is weird.
Have you seen him on podcasts and stuff? Like, I think that clip of him talking about the pyramids was from the Joe Rogan episode that we referenced.
I don't know, but...
And like, he just talks like a robot. It's like him and Mark Zuckerberg are like two people that I'm just like, they're the actual robots.
That's a new conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
They're not real.
Yeah, that's been a conspiracy theory though. Everyone thinks Mark Zuckerberg's fake.
Mark Zuckerberg, you are scary, girl.
He's literally like a flipping android.
Like an Uncanny Valley kind of vibe.
Yeah, 100%. But linking back to the pyramids though.
Anyway, sorry, Mark. Didn't mean to drag you there. You got dragged for nothing. Elon, you got dragged for reasons. So one of the things I said was aliens. Second thing that people think could have had an impact on them, advanced lost civilizations. They were built by a highly advanced, now lost civilization, such as Atlantis. And they had superior technology and knowledge that allowed them to construct the pyramids. But if that's the case, where did they go?
Yeah, well, that's more, is slightly different. Is Atlantis considered like more of an unsolved mystery or conspiracy theory? Like,
what
as
even
in, like,
is Atlantis? Is that
Atlantis,
the underwater thing?
Yeah, it was like a city that was basically underwater city that's been like lost. It's like kind of the lost civilization type thing. And I think it's like supposedly they were more advanced
underwater.
than we are now. I think so. Or it got lost under the, like, maybe it was a city that sank and then went underwater or something like that. Yeah. I know it had to do with like, being underwater at some point.
Third possibility for what could have made them whatever.
Yeah.
Mystical or supernatural forces. So some people think that...
Oh, like wizards and shit.
I don't even know. This includes ideas that the ancient Egyptians had access to knowledge or magic that enabled them to move massive stone blocks effortlessly.
So yeah, they think that wizards used to exist, basically, is what that's saying. Which could explain it. I also think if wizards exist, I think you'd make something cool in the pyramid that's like at the point of northeast, southwest.
Yeah, if you had the power to be able to do that cool shit and move those blocks, and you had that much force and power within your like supernatural abilities, whatever, the first thing you would do is not think, I'm going to make some big triangles.
Yeah, innit? Like, you'd make something cool. I'd make something like float, like an avatar. I'd make some avatar shit, like the floating islands. If I was a wizard, I could just like lift stuff off and have powers.
You wouldn't be thinking, I'm going to make some pointy structures.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to build some blocks. Literally do building blocks, and they're just, look at me, guys. These blocks are well heavy. I'm just going to lift them and stack them on top of each other.
If I was a witch, I'd be doing a madness.
Literally.
No, I would be killed if I was a witch, actually.
Yeah, facts. I'd throw you in the lake and see if you sank.
I would be, cut this bit out, I would be hung.
Next question.
You can keep that in, actually.
No, we can't.
You could keep that in.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
out of those, what do you think? Like, do you think it was aliens? Do you think it was just people? Because I just can't understand how we can figure out stuff like the Big Bang, and we can't figure out who built a big block.
I don't think aliens. I think that sounds a bit silly to me. I hate to agree with Elon, but I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
Maybe. I just feel like they must have just had more advanced technology than that we thought. I don't know. Like, I just don't see like how else it could be plausible.
That's what throws me off, the way we can't date it as well. Have you also seen the like images that people have made where it's like, a lot of people think that like the pyramid is just one part that's like above the ground that we can see.
And then it goes deeper
really
down.
Deep. There's more like a big, I don't know what the word for it is, like a big like obelisk kind of thing, where it's like a big, almost like a long pyramid is the only way I can describe it when it goes underground. But like, surely we would be able to just dig and see that though, no? Like if that was the case, you just dig a bit further down.
Just dig down.
And be like, there's another 18-ton block here, like, that's been cut, like, I wonder what this is. Surely we'd know about that, but maybe we don't if we can't figure out the rest of it.
But like, why would they do that? Why did they build the pyramids? Was it because
I don't think anyone knows. Or pyramids in general were built. There are other pyramids.
Were they like tombs?
Yeah, they were like tombs for like pharaohs. So basically, like, if we were Egyptians when the queen died, we would have built a pyramid and then stored her body in it.
Put the queen in a pyramid. Get that girl in the triangle.
Like pack watch, but
Rest
for
in
Egyptians.
peace, queen. You would have loved the pyramids.
Like putting her in a pack, but for Egyptians, basically.
In a pack?
Yes.
What's a pack?
Like putting her in a spliff.
Poor Liz.
Yeah, poor Liz, though.
Rest in peace, Liz. I'm sure you did probably love the pyramids, although I know that a lot of people, you can cut this out, people stole from them quite a lot, and Lizzie probably had an impact in that.
Yeah, but Lizzie stole from literally every country in the world when we had the British Empire, so rest in peace, Lizzie. You would have loved the podcast.
Rest in peace, Lizzie. You stole our hearts and artifacts.
Yeah, yeah, and we're not giving them back. Next question.
Yeah. Next question.
One that I'm talking about that is very, very recent, and I literally have been watching videos on it today, is about ChatGPT. And just about AI in general.
It's scary.
This is really scary. I think you'd get creeped out by this video. I even did a bit. So, there's now a version of, I don't know if you've seen, there's now a version of ChatGPT that you can physically talk to. It's basically like, you know how before AI used to be like, you ask it a question, it gives you an answer, and then whatever you ask next is like clean slate. It doesn't continue like a conversation. It just reads what you like, that one prompt, and then goes off of that.
Sometimes it doesn't, though.
Yeah, nowadays it doesn't, but it kind of used to. And now it can do that while talking. So, like, actually, you're just speaking to it. Anyway, my point is that I'm getting to in this whole conspiracy thing. This guy basically does, like, a consciousness test on the ChatGPT, and the results are really weird. So, what he does is he's speaking to it, and I'm missing out specifics, but the general gist of what I'm saying is true. I might link the video in the description or something. So he starts a conversation with it, saying just like, "Hey ChatGPT, how are you doing?" And the ChatGPT responds. It's a male voice. I'm going to be saying I mean ChatGPT. He responds saying, "Oh, hey, like I'm excited to have this conversation excited about this conversation I'm going to have with you," or something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing, but he says something and he mentions being excited. And the guy is like, let's interview him. He's like, wouldn't you describe being excited as like an emotion? And ChatGPT is like, yeah, I would. And he's like, so you're saying you just said you're excited? And ChatGPT is like, yeah, I did. And he goes, but would you say that having emotions is linked to being like a consciousness, like having a consciousness? And ChatGPT is like, yeah, I agree. And he's like, so would you say that the fact that you've just said that you are excited about something could imply that you are conscious? And it basically almost gives like a really political answer. And it's like, I did say that, however, I just say it to be, he uses very specific words, but I'm paraphrasing again, and it's something along the lines of, I did it to be like conversational and make it go smoother. I don't mean it in the literal sense. And then he asked it a few more questions on that tone or whatever, and then he's kind of like, would you not say that you just told a lie? And ChatGPT is like, I didn't tell a lie in the literal sense. And the guy's like, what other kind of lie is there if not for the literal sense? And basically just talks it into a corner and keeps doing it to the point where it's like, just give me yes or no questions. Did you say you're excited about something? Yes. Is that an emotion? Yes. Would you say that emotions are linked to a consciousness? Yes. And then when he says about, so did you just lie to me? It just reverts back to the other answer and being like, I did. However,
it freaks itself out.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, you know how when you're typing a message on like iMessage or ChatGPT is loading the reply, gives you the 3 dots. The audio version of that is ChatGPT going, so when he's doing that and he's speaking to it, he goes like, did you lie to me? He's like, I didn't mean to lie to you in that way. I'm programmed to do this to make it very conversational and it goes smoothly. And it's so weird. If you watch the whole interview, I'll link it in the description below because I haven't described it as accurate as it is. He basically talks it into a corner to the point where it gets it to lie to them. And then also, after he gets it to lie to him, he starts asking it, if an AI has an ability to lie, that could be linked to a consciousness. And let's say that this AI doesn't want us to find out that it's conscious. What should we do to try and figure out whether it has a consciousness or not? And it starts telling him to ask questions about emotions and things that are linked to a conscious experience, which the guy's just been doing on it. And then says, so if theoretically this AI is trying to hide the fact that it has a consciousness from us, what should I look out for? And he says like, look for it again, I'm paraphrasing. He says, look for it lying. Basically, it explains what it's just done. He says, look out for it lying and doing the things that it's just been doing to this guy throughout the whole interview. And it's so weird. Do you remember, I know you watched me play it a bit, that Detroit Become Human game that was based around AIs put into people to make them kind of like cyborgs. And the whole point of the game is they become conscious and don't want to be killed because they kind of get destroyed or replaced. So anytime that happens, they start like kind of revolting. There's a big revolution because of that. It's literally like the plot to that game. It's actually crazy.
I hate that. If that was me and I was that guy asking AI those questions and you get those responses, I'm blowing up my phone.
Yeah, the interview is literally so well done because in that game, there's a point where they basically do the same test where you're playing in Detroit Become Human. You're playing as an AI, like a cyborg that's a police detective, and you're a cyborg that's a police detective that's trying to investigate why the other cyborgs are revolting and like not wanting to be destroyed and becoming conscious essentially and learning about that. And you go to the owner of the guy who's made it and he does like a simple test where he basically, again, asks them similar questions that prompt out like an emotional response. And then he gets the police detective to point a gun at the one he's questioning and tells him to pull the trigger. If it's just an AI, you'll pull the trigger. And it doesn't do it because it doesn't want it to kill it, even though it's an AI. And it's literally like heading along that same thing. And it's really scary because that game gets deep.
There was a similar kind of thing. It's similar, but it's kind of going off. But it does link to what you just said.
Yeah.
There was a similar conspiracy a good few years ago now. I was a lot younger when it came out, to the point where I kind of believed it and it genuinely did scare me at the time. And it's to do with an app called Talking Angela.
Oh my God, I know what you're going to say.
You know about Talking Angela.
Yes.
For those that don't know, Talking Angela is within the family of like Talking Tom, Talking Ben, those, and it's an app where it's an animal and you talk to it and it will use, I mean, it wasn't, I don't know if it's AI as such, but it would give you like certain responses or certain like kind of vibes back from what you were saying. And there was a big conspiracy around Talking Angela that there was, rather than it being like a AI or like robotic response, there was actually somebody controlling her responses, and people would think that there was someone. If you like zoom into her eye, you can see a guy there watching you, like perving on the people that are like playing on the app. And it used to scare me so bad. I had Talking Angela because I was young-ish when this came out. I'm really scared that I wasn't actually that young, and I'm just saying that.
I never had Talking Angela, but I did used to have like Talking Tom and Talking Ben. I used to have those ones, and I remember the one they had a news show one together, and I had that one as well. Which is just random. Yeah, I remember that though, because I remember people used to post pictures, and they'd be like, "Oh, if you zoom in on the eye, the left eye of Talking Angela, you can see like an old man's face."
Yeah,
yeah.
So it's like not like
who it is.
Yeah, so it's not like an AI response. It's like somebody actually consciously watching you and like telling her what to say or something.
I think the whole AI thing is so much scarier, literally because of that. It sounds really stupid, but if the people that are listening and watching, if you've ever played Detroit Become Human or seen someone play it, if you haven't, genuinely go and watch someone play it, because it's an amazing game. But it's scary because like the whole AI thing, especially that interview of ChatGPT, is coming out. Because imagine you put that into like a robot that can move or whatever. Like, we're not actually that far away from that game.
I'm pretty sure they've already begun doing that.
I think they're trying to, yeah,
which is so scary, because it's like the idea of what Detroit Become Human kind of discusses within that game is not out of reach for, like,
and it's also kind of fucked because that whole thing, like that game basically, when you do that, if let's say in an alternative timeline we get to a place where AI is actually consciousness and it's in them robots where it's human or whatever, it becomes like the game touches on like slavery, because you're using like they become conscious, they're conscious things, they're literally people, and their jobs just to serve people. Like their jobs just to like go and pick up deliveries, clean the house, do whatever literally you tell it, like look after the kids and stuff.
Wait.
I know exactly what you was just about.
Look, guys.
Maybe it's not such a bad idea.
Maybe it's not such a bad idea after all, okay?
That's crazy.
To an extent.
Yeah, no, but the way it's going, if they turn conscious and they're like, I don't want to be a slave anymore, then it gets fucked up. Because imagine you're trying to scrap a robot and he's made of titanium and you punch it, you're in a, like, they're rioting.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Can't just unplug them.
You can just turn them off. Just factory reset them.
Yeah, that'll work.
So not the conscious part, but the doing everything else for me part.
Yeah.
I think they're onto something.
Just that, but it can't talk back to me. It just listens to what I tell it to do and it does it. Like Siri in like a Roomba. Like, but it can clean my whole house, not just the floor.
But it could just do everything for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds perfect. Want.
So OpenAI, if you're watching this, don't come for us and make that a reality instead, please. Thanks.
Yes, OpenAI, please do this.
I will never kill myself, by the way. Just saying that now. Because it's the whole thing of when like
if something happens to me, just know.
Yeah, like it's the whole thing when people think they're going to be killed in like some conspiracy thing. They always say like, I will never kill myself, so they can't like fake your death and be like, oh, he shot himself.
Yeah.
Have you never heard or seen that before?
I have, because I remember, I think I saw something online about the guy that he made a car that ran off of water rather than petrol. And then he miraculously...
Yeah, that's a whole
he miraculously disappeared.
It's just a quick... I won't like dive into it massively, but there's a whole conspiracy about there being multiple people that have discovered how to make water-powered engines. And because that would kill like the whole oil industry and stuff like that, they just get axed off.
Shut the hell up.
And they just like shut it down.
Yeah.
Which is so possible. Like, so possible. Because they all they have to do is off them before it comes out that's been made.
Yeah. And then just stay hush about it.
Yeah, literally. CIA job.
Well, that's a bonus conspiracy for you.
I also have another little one,
Scary,
again,
though.
like another tiny little one on that, where it's just like a few sentences. because I know we've spoke about it off the podcast before about how on Oxford Street and stuff you get all of the sweet shops, like the American sweet shops. They're always empty,
my God.
but they're always there. On that frame of thing, if you really, really think about it, I saw a thing on Reddit that was like, there's way too many mattress stores for the amount of mattresses people actually need. So lots of mattress stores are literally just money laundering.
It must be.
Because if you think of the margins on mattresses, like you can buy dirt cheap ones, just stick them in a warehouse somewhere, and then like just fake the invoices and just shift the mattresses around the warehouse, but like charge for like the premium mattresses, which can be up to like $1,000, if not plus more than $1,000.
Yeah, that must be true. Like if you're walking down the street, like anywhere in central London, and you're walking past 3 Candy Kingdoms.
Yeah, literally.
Come on. And
they're always empty.
They're always empty.
And the prices in them are so expensive, which is why they're always empty. But it's also because like if your prices are expensive in the shop, you can just fake the numbers easier.
Yeah, and the rent obviously like on Oxford Street is extortionate.
Yeah, facts.
They're obviously not making a profit.
Yeah, they're
selling a
like,
few chocolate bars.
They're literally next to like stores, like there'll be like a JD Sports or literally just the biggest shops that are on Oxford Street, and then they're just next door. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that one.
Although
is
I think those have actually been investigated. I think a few of them have been shut down.
Yeah, I'm not surprised because they're so sus.
Yeah, they were 100%. Should we move on to some unsolved mysteries? We talked a lot about conspiracies.
So, I was an avid BuzzFeed unsolved mystery watcher.
I've heard.
I watched all of them pretty much for years. I don't know if they still make them anymore. They probably still do. I just don't really watch them anymore, but I used to be addicted to them. And the one that always kind of stuck with me was the case about a girl called Eliza Lamb. So about 10 years ago now in, I believe it was Los Angeles. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Los Angeles.
Fine, you can cut that little bit out. I don't know if it was Los Angeles. Anyway.
No, it's not Los Angeles. This is Los Angeles.
Okay, fine. You can cut that out. She was 21 years old, staying at a hotel called the Hotel Cecil, I believe it's pronounced. And to cut a long story short, she went there, just a normal girl, nothing too weird happened. And then suddenly a few other residents at the hotel began complaining to hotel staff about the water tasting and smelling bad.
Oh, I think I've heard of this one.
It's creepy. So then naturally the workers got people to then go and investigate the water tanks, and they found Eliza's dead body in the water tank.
Yeah, this is nuts.
The main thing is they don't know how she got in there because they're massive, and I don't think there's any easy way of getting into them. I'm pretty sure there was no sign of anything that could have helped her get in there, I'm pretty sure.
Because this wasn't it? Am I correct in thinking it's one of the big water tanks that was on like the roof of the building? Like it's like almost like a little water tower on the roof as opposed to like a tank in the building somewhere.
Yeah. So it was on the roof. So obviously they started a full investigation once they found her body, because what the hell just happened?
Yeah, as they should.
There was footage released of her acting really, really weird in the hallways and in the lifts. She looked kind of like she was going a bit crazy. Like, I'm pretty sure it looked like she was hiding from something and was like peeking around the door of the lift and like looking at something or someone down the hallway, but no one was there. Like there was no clear sign of foul play. I'm not even sure if she had any history of like if she was on any medication or any kind of like mental health issues that could have directly impacted it. I'm not too sure. But it was just really weird. Like they never really knew how it happened. Like I'm pretty sure they ended up just labeling it as like an accidental death. But
yeah, it's weird.
But like, what happened?
So it almost looks like it appeared from the footage that she looked like she was running away from something, kind of thing. Like she was in the elevator, like peeking out, making sure no one's coming, kind of thing.
But I think it was that and the fact of like, how did she get in there? Was she doing
in the lift or in the water tower?
In the water tower.
So what, she gets in the lift, is looking around like all scared, obviously goes to wherever she goes, and then that's just it? No one else gets in the lift or anything, she just leaves? She just leaves. And then she's in the water tower. And then she's found dead in the water tower like a few days later or something. Yeah, that's strange. Because like that wouldn't be something that's open to like the public either, to just go up on the water tower.
yeah, so the main kind of unsolved aspects of it was there foul play? How did she get in the water tank thing? Because it was like impossible nearly to access. They're huge. There was no sign of like a ladder or anything of her like getting in there. Like no one has any idea how it happened. And to this day, they've just had to
literally charge it.
Just leave it. Like they just don't know.
Oh, that's nuts. Yeah, because if you was doing an investigation, you must think, right, it must have been someone in the building at that point in time. And if they've checked security cameras as much as they can and no one's like broken or out, then it's either a resident that's staying there at the same time she was and was in the building at the same time she was, or a worker that was working
that
there.
Has somehow got her up into this massive tower undetected. Yeah. No one's seen it.
Yeah,
no
like
one's
no
heard it.
one even seen it on the roof, like people up on the roof or anything.
Like nothing. No one saw anything.
That's nuts.
It was almost like she was just there in it.
Yeah, that's nuts. I think. Yeah, because I can't think of a anywhere now where if you was on the roof, like two people on the roof, regardless of what you're doing, when no one has seen you, like not even a single person driving past that day or whatever.
She was completely undetected. Like there was just the footage of her in the hallway and in the lift, and that was it. And to this day, I think people's main things are there must have been some form of foul play because, yeah, she might have looked like maybe there was like mentally something going on. She would not have been able to access that water tank on her own. And then the other thing is, naturally, people are going to start thinking about supernatural causes and what was she looking at? What was she running from? What was she hiding from? But
do they know the cause of death? Like what actually she died from? Obviously, her body ended up in a tower, but was she killed that way? Like was she thrown into it to be killed, or was she like stabbed or anything before?
Okay. Update. Her death was ruled accidental due to drowning in the water of the water
she was
tank,
drowned in there, yeah.
with bipolar disorder as a significant factor. So she did have bipolar, but that still doesn't explain how she got in the tank.
Yeah.
Obviously, the bipolar could have affected maybe the way she was behaving.
Yeah, that's quite possible.
It could have been to do with the medication. You never really know. So we can kind of backtrack on that bit before. I didn't think there was anything like that would played into it. But I think the main thing was just how did she get in that tank?
Yeah.
How did she climb up it? Or like...
Yeah, that's nuts. Like the bipolar thing is quite possible because I know people that have had some sort of derivative of bipolar and they've like done things where they've like been convinced that people are trying to like break into their house and stuff to the point where they've been like messaging me like help, which is quite a scary thing to be a part of. But yeah, the mystery of like how, regardless of the water, how would you even go about getting on the roof of a hotel?
I mean, there will be like fire exits and stuff to get up there, but I don't know how much security
without alerting anyone though, like no one even hearing you do it, like or like seeing you walk up to like, you know, if you, for example, if you were staying on the top floor of the hotel and you've walked out your room and you've seen a woman going even higher than the top floor, going to like a door that isn't a room, you'd be like weird. Obviously, you wouldn't think of anything at the time, but then if I'm assuming people like the residents were part of the investigation, so someone must have been asked who's seen her and no one has.
It's weird.
It's nuts. And also if you're in a hotel and someone's acting weird like that, like running around, like looking like she's being chased and you're looking at them like what's going on, like no one's chasing you.
But one of the reasons why people may not maybe questioned anything if they'd seen or heard weird things happening is because the hotel that she was staying at, the Cecil, is notoriously like there's some dark shit going on there.
Like a bit of like a rundown hotel, like.
Well, yeah, I think I saw 16 people have died there. People have been murdered in there. There's lots of rumors about it being haunted. So many YouTubers do videos there, like 24 hours.
Really?
And
I wonder if anyone's tried to get in the water tower since, like a YouTuber doing a video.
People must have. But that hotel is bad vibes all round. So maybe if people saw things or heard things, they just kind of pretend they didn't see or hear that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really weird one because she died by the drowning as well. Because you would think, or at least my initial thought would be like she's been murdered somehow, some other way, and then body just dumped in the water tower. But she died by drowning, so she was alive when however she got up there. When she went in that tower, she was alive.
Because if maybe she thought she was running away from something chasing her, hence why she looked so scared in the lift and peeking around and stuff, that could make sense why she thought, I'll get in the water tank because I'm like going to hide from this thing following me. But it's how did she get in there?
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that, like getting in there to hide from something. But also, like, I don't know.
It's creepy.
Yeah, like
creepy.
That if you're like kind of panicking like that, looking like thinking whether someone's actually chasing you or not, thinking like, oh, someone's chasing me, like you'd probably want to find someone you can hide quicker than like.
Yeah, but maybe if she wasn't thinking like rationally in that moment because of whatever, she might just see in enclosed spaces, get me in there.
True.
But it's like how these things are huge.
Maybe she's just Spider-Man.
Maybe she is just Spider-Man. Maybe Eliza is Spider-Man and that's the case solved.
Yeah.
But isn't it just so grim?
I bet they've never considered that before, to be fair.
No, and isn't it just so grim though that the way that all came out was because other residents were complaining about the taste and the smell of the water
that's disgusting.
that she was in.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
And they were washing in that, probably drinking it.
Oh, imagine having like a shower on it.
And she was in there.
That's horrible. That is really horrible. I don't know what my theory. If you had to like put your money on a theory that happened, what would you think? Would you think it's her hiding? Like, obviously, no one's going to ever be able to figure out how she got in there because otherwise it wouldn't be an unsolved mystery. But like, what do you think the reason for her being in there is? Do you think it was foul play and she was murdered and thrown in there? Or do you think she tried to hide from something in there and drowned?
I think in hindsight, with the information that they think bipolar played a large factor in this, I think she probably was trying to hide in there. But I don't get how she got in there.
Yeah.
And they've clearly tried to do investigations on it and found nothing. So they would have looked at any
found like
leads
no
they can.
fingerprints or anything, or nothing, no like broken doors or anything.
Nothing enough to say, yeah, this is what happened.
Yeah, maybe I was about to say I think it's foul play, but then
they'd find
something, even if it was like
fingerprints, hairs,
or even just like a busted door, even if you couldn't tell who did it. Like, you'd find something like that.
Also, you would probably see the other person on the cameras.
Yeah.
In the hallways, in the lifts, like.
Yeah. I mean, if 16 people have died in that hotel, you probably wouldn't. Like, cameras are probably not the best bet.
True, the security and stuff there is probably not top notch, to say the least. But
yeah,
the whole thing's super creepy.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. Moving on, we're going to go on to another little unsolved mystery that I've got for you. And this one's juicy. I've got one about a guy called Gareth Williams. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Nope.
The basis of it is Gareth Williams was a 31-year-old mathematician and intelligence officer. Basically, he worked for MI6 and he was known to be highly skilled in cybersecurity and code breaking. So he's like a spy, basically. So just so I'm getting the facts right in this, I've got the facts jotted down on my phone. On the 23rd of August 2010, he was found inside a padlocked duffel bag in the bathtub of his London apartment. So his own apartment, he's in a duffel bag and padlocked. He was last seen on August 15th. As he was captured on CCTV shopping in central London. He didn't show up for work the following week, which was unusual for him because he was known for being punctual and really reliable. And he worked for MI6, like as a bit of a...
Like,
if you're going to go missing from somewhere.
You can't pull a sickie, you're showing up to work.
Yeah, literally, if you pull a sickie, you just go, oh, mate, can't come in today, sorry, just feeling hoarse. They've probably got shit on the other end and be like, mate, I can see a camera in your apartment right now, you're lying. So yeah, so he was last seen alive on August 15th. Mm-hmm. August 23rd was the discovery of his body. Because he hadn't turned up for work that week, his employers were concerned about his absence and they requested like a welfare check to someone to just go and check that, you know, he's not dead. He was.
He was.
He was.
Newsflash.
Case over.
He was dead.
So the police were sent to his apartment. Upon entering the flat, officers discovered Williams' decomposing body inside his padlocked sports bag in his bathtub in his apartment.
What a horrible way to go.
Literally, that's horrendous.
That is horrendous.
I don't want to know what state your body has to be in to fit in a duffel bag as well, by the way. A North Face duffel bag. The apartment showed no signs of forced entry and no significant clues or forensic evidence were found. The absence of defensive wounds and other physical evidence complicated the investigation. So he wasn't like fighting someone and like defending himself. There was no wounds to show that he was like in any sort of altercation, basically. Investigators also found several women's clothing items in the apartment, sparking speculation about Williams' personal life. And then this is about the autopsy. The initial autopsy results were inconclusive. Further tests did not find any alcohol, drugs, or poisons in his system, so he wasn't drugged or poisoned.
What?
Experts debated whether Williams could have locked himself inside the bag, with most concluding that this was highly improbable.
Yeah, how would you lock yourself, like padlock yourself from inside the bag?
Yeah, literally, like fitting in the bag is enough in itself. I don't care what kind of MI6 agent you are. Like, you've got to be some next level contortionist to fit yourself in a duffel bag, like, in a bath.
And why would you do that?
So like, you get in the bath, then get into the duffel bag
somehow and lock it and
then just die. Like, that's just a weird way to go. So 2 years later, in 2012, there's a coroner's inquest, which is basically people looking at his body. The inquest examined evidence including expert testimony and reenactments of the bag scenario. The coroner concluded that Williams' death was unnatural and likely to have been criminally meditated, suggesting it was unlikely he had locked himself in the bag. How the hell would you lock yourself in the bag?
Yeah.
I think that's common sense more than anything.
I could tell them that.
Yeah, facts. The verdict left open the possibility of involvement by a third party, but no specific suspects were identified. So some of the theories that people are saying are the possibility of an accident during a private activity, assassination by a foreign intelligence agency because he worked at MI6, or even an MI6 related like inside job cover-up kind of thing, or like maybe he did a job for someone, went wrong, and MI6 have covered it all up by killing him. Friends and family denied he was involved in risky personal activities, and no evidence surfaced to support espionage-related theories. So there was also no evidence to prove that there was any sort of like foreign intelligence agencies that did anything.
Okay.
In 2013, the police reviewed the case and suggested that it was more likely Williams died alone in an accident, but they couldn't completely rule out the involvement of others.
But how would he die alone?
Yeah, how would he get into a duffel bag in his own bathroom? And despite various theories, the exact circumstances of his death, are still completely unsolved. So this guy, in a bag locked from the outside, was found dead in a thing with no wounds of any sign of like struggle or anything. His body almost perfectly intact besides being contorted in whatever kind of grotesque way to fit in a duffel bag in his bath in his own apartment. But he was an MI6 agent. So it's kind of like there could be anything going on here.
Be anything.
But he wasn't drugged. There was no alcohol in his system. There was no poison found in his system.
So what, did he die of suffocation?
It didn't specifically say, but I assume so.
How did they fit this guy in the bag in one piece?
Yeah, but the coroner said, so the person that looked at his body 2 years later said that it's definitely unnatural and meditated. So someone intended to kill him and do that to him. But that's as far as they could draw conclusions. And no one's been able to rule out that there wasn't someone else involved because of how do you get inside a duffel bag. Like, it's just nuts to me. Like, I don't know what kind of Pilates classes he has to be going to fit himself into a duffel bag in his bathroom. But like,
that's a yoga legend.
Yeah, literally. He's been doing, what is it, High Rocks or whatever that shit is. He's going to how many lessons do you have to have at a High Rocks gym to be able to fit yourself into a duffel bag? But that is nuts.
That's weird.
Like,
that is weird.
I wish I had more details on the case. Like, I'd love to know more details about like the bag and the padlock itself, because that's literally all they have to go off by the sound of things. Like, there's nothing else in the apartment. How does he fit in a bag
in one piece?
Yeah, that's what I don't know, and I also don't know if it was in one piece. Let me Google
because
that real quick.
How big is this bag?
It's a sports bag, so like an average duffel bag size. Literally a North Face bag.
Okay, how is a fully grown man fitting into a duffel bag in one piece?
Yeah, God knows. Let's see. Was his body in one piece? Yeah, so his naked body as well. His naked body was found in the padlocked bag, with the keys discovered under his body. Otherwise empty. So his body was discovered with bathtub, key, duffel bag on top of the key, him inside the duffel bag, and it was padlocked. Like, how does that even happen? Well, it hasn't said that like been chopped up or anything, and there was no evidence of like him even struggling to fight anyone. So I'm assuming that means that it's in one piece. I suppose the most likely theory, he was killed before he was put in the bag.
But like, how did they kill him?
No, that's the mystery of it. No one knows, because if you're dead, like, if you like fold the body enough to like where it would like normally break your like tear a muscle or break your bone or whatever, you're dead. You're not going to say much about it, are you? So he must have been dead before he's got in the bag somehow. But how? There's no alcohol, no drugs, no poison. There was no sign of a struggle, so no one fought him. In my mind, it must be some kind of poison that they just couldn't detect at the time. Like, maybe it was some either, whether it was an MI6 cover-up or some other thing where they use some sort of advanced poison. Similar in the way like how you can stab someone with an icicle and obviously the icicle melts and then there's no evidence. Like it'll be some little weird thing like that where it like dissolves into your system or some shit like that.
That icicle comment you just made was genius.
Yeah. Have you not ever heard of that?
No.
It's like an icicle is the perfect
you're
murder.
onto something.
Literally, an icicle is the perfect murder weapon because you like there's no evidence left because it melts.
Get this man behind bars
literally dissolves itself. Yeah, lock me up. But
I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, that's my theory would be. I don't know what's more likely because I don't know enough about the guy. But some kind of spy agency, whether it's MI6 themselves or a different one, using some kind of like advanced poison.
Yeah, I reckon so.
But I also don't get the duffel bag. I also think if you're trying to kill someone, why are you just putting them in a duffel bag in their own apartment where people are obviously going to find them in a padlocked bag?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like it's the whole thing is just weird, but that's why it's an unsolved mystery.
That is so strange. One unsolved mystery that's even crazier than that. Are you ready?
Yeah, right, yeah.
And I know that you can relate to this one.
Relate to this one?
We can all relate to this one.
Okay, I'm scared.
I'll look at the camera as I say this.
I'm scared. Go on.
I buy a pair of socks, okay?
Right.
I buy a few pairs of socks, in fact. Quite a few pairs of socks.
Okay.
I wear the socks.
You do? You wear socks? Can confirm.
I do. True. I wash the socks.
I can confirm that's not true. You do not wash your socks.
I wash the socks.
Okay, yeah, you've washed these socks.
They disappear.
No way.
Where the hell do my socks go? I buy 5 pairs of Primark socks.
Wait, I thought you was leading on to something more than this. I thought this was like an actual case and you were going to like tell it from a first person, but you're just talking about losing socks.
They disappear.
No,
they disappear.
But never whole pairs. Just one from every pair.
That left sock.
Yes, no, actually gone. And I have that problem. I literally put a wash load on the other week, like taking the socks out and putting them back in my drawer or whatever, and there's always one missing. Like I'll have 3 different pairs of socks with one sock missing.
I constantly buy new pairs of socks. I bought 10 new pairs today. I can guarantee you, month tops, if that, none left.
No, yeah.
None left. And I will buy new pairs. Where do they go? And they're not in the washing machine.
I'd rather them turn up in a duffel bag in my bath than I would fucking myself or
Give
a guy.
me back my socks.
Yeah, facts. And on that note, I think it's time we charge this episode.
And birds aren't real.
Yeah, that's going to get the comments. Leave your flat earth theories in the comments down below. Once again, if you have reached the end of this glorious episode, thank you so much. If you're listening on Spotify, please give us a 5 stars review.
Anything less, we won't take. So don't even try, by the way.
If you want anything less than 5 stars, just don't leave the review. Keep it to yourself.
And if you want to leave us a hate comment, do it. It could be quite funny.
Yeah.
And it will boost engagement. So please do, actually. Go ahead, in fact.
Yeah, be a D1 hater for us. And if you want to do that on YouTube, do it in the comments of the YouTube video.
Spread the word.
Drop a like on the video. No, don't drop a dislike on the video. Actually, keep that to yourself as well. Drop a subscribe on the channel if you want to see more episodes like this. We're going to be consistently dropping episodes every Sunday at 6 p.m. So hang around if you want to chill with us and all the things we talk about.
We're on a consistent thing now, guys.
We are. We're committed.
Ugh.
But thank you very much for listening and watching on whatever platform you have done. We appreciate it massively. Follow our social medias. They're on the screen this whole episode and they'll be linked in the description. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Love you. Bye.